If you want to see whether or not seduction is real or not, you must try it. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Bobby from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about whether or not pickup, seduction, dating, coaching, what I teach, is it snake oil? Is it fake? Does it not work? Is it con artistry? So I've gotten this quite a few times on Reddit, YouTube, on the website. Many times I've heard in person, a lot of times too. I would tell people it's what I do, and they're like, "Oh, really?" And they would have this really skeptical attitude. And then eventually, after talking to me for a while or seeing me in action, they would be like, "Oh, there's something to it," right? But even then, people would sometimes be skeptical because they think it's, oh, you just got lucky, or it's just your looks, or she was just the right girl for you. You had some chemistry and connection, right? There's always another rationalization. There's always another justification for why something happened. And this is, I guess, a philosophical question of causality. But what I really want to get at in this video is whether or not it's fake, whether or not it actually works. So is pickup, let's use seduction, because there's a lot less bad connotations with that word. Because I know when people hear pickup, they just triggered. Okay, so seduction, does it work? Firstly, you have to try it. Okay, you might hear the notions and the ideas that are given by certain teachers, and you may disagree with them. But you have to ask yourself, well, is this person qualified? And that's kind of hard to do too, because that's another question, is the person teaching me real, right? Seduction might be real, but this guy is not it. That's harder to discuss because then you're asking him to prove himself. Now, if he comes to you and he says, oh, I've been with this many girls and dated these kinds of girls and been in these relationships, and giving you his CV, his resume, his qualifications, well, you might just say you're full of shit. You might say, no, you're a liar. Now, that's really difficult because, especially on the internet, if I were to be asked to justify myself, because there have been times where I would give, like a story of something that happened, and they were like, oh, it's fake. And I was like, okay, and I screenshotted, the texts and that were in my story. And then I block out the personal information and I just show them the text. It's Photoshop. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, well, I actually posted this like weeks before making this post, because I was teaching other people about it. And they're like, well, you can change the time already. And I was just like, what? You can't win with these people. When someone is really insistent on not believing you, even after you provide, evidence or explanations, if they're still insistent on not believing you, then they weren't really having good intentions with their skepticism. They were skeptical for other reasons, and that's something that you have to examine if you're skeptical, and that's who this video is for people who are specifically skeptical, or the people who want to get more confidence in what they believe to be working. So when you're super skeptical about something, you have to ask yourself, am I just skeptical about the person, right? And even if I asked for qualifications, I would ask, well, show me videos of you fucking girls. And then, you would say, oh, it's a prostitute or, porn star. Are you that skeptical about this person because they don't fit what you think a guy who gets a lot of girls looks like, right? Oh, you're not manly enough, you're not cool enough, or you're awkward, or you're weird. Well, I know guys from every spectrum. I know guys who kind of fit that traditional cool guy, and they look different. Some of them are tall, some of them are short, some of them are skinny, some of them are black, some of them are white, some of them are Asian, some of them are more nerdy, some of them are more, traditionally masculine. They fit all of the spectrums, but what they have in common is that they're all pretty decent with girls. Some of them are still really weird though. Like if you met them, you'd be like, this is a weird guy, but he actually still does well with women because he has a belief system and a way of being that may not be appealing to all women, right? And that's another thing too. It's like, it's not that this is some magic system that works with every girl. What I like to say is that you can't get every girl, but you can get any girl. That's what I like to tell guys. Almost every woman has something that she finds seductive. And if you had those traits genuinely, not that you're faking it, and that's another subject altogether. If you genuinely had those qualities and the characteristics, she would find you sexy and want to sleep with you, right? So that would be a seduction. So any girl can be seduced, and hopefully any girl is seduced. because that would be good for her too, right? And that's another thing. It's like, there's so many layers to the skepticism that a lot of people have, and it's hard to address all the points. But let me kind of go back. So are you skeptical of this person? And is the reason you're skeptical because they don't fit your definition of what a ladies' man is? Well, in some ways, that actually might be credence to him, right? Okay, well, you look like a nerd, or you act weird, or I don't know, there's some strange vibe about you. But if you still do genuinely get girls, let's say he's sincere, right? Let's say he does get girls. Doesn't that prove that seduction works? Isn't that a demonstration that despite him not being a cool guy, that it's possible for even someone like him? And shouldn't that inspire you? Personally, I see that as inspiring. You may not. You may have a very set definition of what you think a ladies' man is. Like, if you're not looking like James Bond and acting like James Bond, you're not getting girls, which is obviously not true. There's very different types of seduction. There's very different types of personalities, and there's also different kinds of girls who like different things. But there tends to be a very, not set, but there tends to be a set in the mathematical sense, a set of elements that tend to be really sexy to women, right? And so, are you skeptical about the guy? And if you are, is there a way for you to change your mind? And if not, then you need to not be judging the man, right? If at the end of the day, you're never gonna believe that he's good with girls, like some people might look at me. I've gotten tons of comments. You look weird, you look creepy, you look gay, you know, your earring is shitty, all sorts of insults, right? And so I was like, okay, what does that really mean? It means that they just don't think I look like what a guy would look like if he gets girls. And that's fine, right? Because I know that if I tried to prove myself to these people, and I don't really want to, I've already had that point in my life where I was bragging and showing off. So fine, leave me out of it, or leave whatever guy that you're skeptical of. Leave him out of it. Okay, now let's go to the teachings. Does his teachings work? Are they good? Well, what's the one way that you can find that out? You have to go out and try them, right? If you want to see whether or not seduction is real or not, you must try it. Now, the difficulty here is that you have to give it a real college go, right? You have to give it a good old try, because this isn't something that is going to happen overnight. It's like getting mad at a workout program that you only did for a month, okay? If you don't have any athletic experience, if you're just starting out being active and exercising, you may see a lot of results, you may not, because you may not be doing it correctly, right? For you to truly see results, it could take months and years, okay? Depending on how quick you are at it, because you must adapt things to yourself, and you must adapt things to different environments, right? What works with one girl and in one situation is not gonna work with another girl in a different situation, because she wasn't in the same mood that the other girl was, or she didn't have the same personality, so that kind of behavior wasn't good for her, right? And so you need to employ some common sense, right? You shouldn't take what they say so literally. You have to understand that's impossible to give you a perfect blueprint for every single girl at every single moment. What they're really trying to teach you, they being dating coaches and seducers, the genuine, sincere ones, they're trying to give you a way of being and a way of thinking that adapts to women and makes you a more ladies' man-like kind of guy. And the only way to truly test it out is to literally test it out and give it a true go. And what happens when you do that is you start to form your own seductive style. That's when you get really good, right? A teacher can only point the way, and he can give you examples from his life, stories, and he can give you tons of advice and tell you what to do. But at the end of the day, you are going to have to adapt your own style of seduction, because his personality might not perfectly transmit. So you have to take the fundamentals of what he's teaching and then morph them into your own particular personality. But if you just get mad right away and you're like, oh, this is bullshit, or you're just skeptical from the start and you're like, oh, this is bullshit, you haven't really tested it. You're not being scientific about it. You're not being empirical about it. You're not being realistic, okay? So give it a good old try and really employ their tactics to the best of your ability, and use some common sense and use some self-awareness, okay? Then if it doesn't work, does that mean seduction doesn't exist at all? Well, no, that's a straw man argument. That's, or a hasty generalization. Because you might have just found a bad teacher. You might have found a guy who maybe knows a little bit, but not the full picture, or doesn't know shit at all, and he's totally full of it, okay? Try someone else, right? And for me, and some of you might say, well, it's not worth the effort. I mean, to me, having the dating life that you want and the sex life that you want and finding a girlfriend that you love and want to be with for the rest of your life, or whatever it is your goals, right? Could be one night stands, could be casual relationships, could be a serious relationship, or it could be all of them just at different points in your life. Who knows? To me, getting that is worth a lot, right? I was willing to change my entire life in order to make myself into the person that would be able to achieve that, right? So if you have doubts about seduction, pickup, whatever you want to call it, I suggest that you find someone who you can relate to. Because even if a teacher is teaching something good, let's say you look at me and you say, Hector, you know what, I think you're teaching some good stuff, but I don't really relate to you. There's something about you that I don't vibe with. I don't know if it's your language, your way of being, your opinions on women, something about you. I respect you, but I don't quite, there's nothing there. That's fine, right? Find someone who fits your vibe. Find someone who explains things in a way that go, I get it. You know, find someone who's living a life that you want to emulate, right? Then go to them and then give their teachings a try, right? Or you can totally go on your own, and that's what I did, because I didn't even know much about the pickup community, or very, like I'd seen that book, The Game, that's it. But I went to college and I was like, I want to get good with girls. I just had this because I'd had some experiences where I almost had some girls and I lost them, and I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being lonely. I'm tired of being depressed. You know, I can tell girls like me a little bit, but there's something I'm missing. So I went to college and I just started talking to everyone and trying every fucking thing that you can possibly imagine, right? Any kooky idea that came to me, try and say this, try and do this. I was like, fuck it, I'll try it, right? And I did a lot of stupid stuff, and I embarrassed the hell out of myself a lot. But I also had a lot of success, and I kind of created my own system. Then it was after that, it was after a breakup that I was really depressed, and I wanted to try and find how to meet girls during the day, because I was so used to going to parties and meeting people on college campus. It was kind of hard for me to meet random people, but I had the notion of what I should do. So I started trying just meeting random people in the street, but I was like, no, there's something missing here. And then I Googled like how to meet girls during the day. And then I found the website that I work for now. And I found the pickup community. And so I took their ideas, I took what I liked and pushed away what I didn't like, and then integrated it into my own system. So you may not even have to follow anybody if you really don't like the way anybody teaches something. You can forge your own path and create your own seduction and create your own seductive personality and to become the sexy ladies man that you think you should be, because you think that you found the right way, or you want to forge your own path, and that's fine too. It's going to be a little bit more of a difficult path, because I know personally, but maybe it'll be more rewarding. But at the end of the day, what we're really saying with pickup and seduction is there's women out there that we find sexy and beautiful and interesting, and we want to have sex with them, we want to date them, we want to marry them, whatever your goals are. How do I do that? And we answer that question. That's all that seduction is. So forge your own path, follow someone, whatever it is you want to do, but give it a truly genuine, sincere, honest try. And then after that, you can see whether or not it's true or it's fake bullshit. Cool. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I have to teach, then like, subscribe, ring the bell, and check out all of the courses in the description below. And I'll see you soon. Ciao.